While the COVID-19 pandemic initially drove unemployment up, others were working around the clock to serve domestic violence and child sexual abuse survivors. A local nonprofit that has served the Latino community for 2 decades says it's never seen a greater need than during this pandemic. In tonight's Voices for Equality, Paola Sura breaks down those alarming numbers within the Latino population and talks to a survivor about how she reached out and received help.
After many dark years,
I was a victim of domestic violence. Then I found out that one of my brothers abused of my son sexually. I was hurt and had so much resentment.
Frances says she's finally starting to see brighter days.
I used to not even talk about this. My throat used to be in knots. But after counseling, I feel better.
Counseling she's received through Ser Familia, a nonprofit that's provided family, social, mental health services and food for Latinos in Georgia for 20 years.
We sadly expect that the demand is going to continue. The families are in crisis.
CEO Belisa Urbina says that crisis has escalated during the pandemic when many families moved in together because they couldn't afford rent.
Usually, kids are going to be abused by people they know. If the child now has contact with 11 adults as opposed to 3 adults, it's a sad numbers game.
And that's been reflected in the number of calls Ser Familia has received during the pandemic. In the past year, they've served 112% more domestic violence victims, and they've received 231% more referrals for child sexual abuse.
The numbers continue to skyrocket.
That's why instead of closing its doors during the pandemic, the organization hired more staff and expanded 3 of its 4 locations.
Providing mental health counseling to them via an electronic means, we didn't feel it was too safe because you don't know who else is in the room.
Helping survivors like Frances for free in a private and safe setting.
That's why I tell people to go to Ser Familia, so they learn how to defend themselves and defend their kids.
To get help or volunteer for the organization, go to 11alive.com.